Hey guys, I was gonna hop on and go over North Node and Moon. Like if somebody shares their Rahu North Node in the same house as the Moon. Um, so this type of placement, people with this kind of placement, they kind of have it rough. They kind of have it hard up until Saturn returns in their early 30s or mid 30s, like 30 to 35. That's when it kind of lessens, it softens. But these are the type of people like in the movies where if there's like a group of kids and they're about to make a bad choice or doing stupid things like kids do, and there's one kid who's just like smart enough, or they're just like they don't want any part of it, yet they go along with it. So they either go along with it because they want to. Okay, so the reasons behind it could be different depending on what else they have in their chart, right? You could go along with it because you want to fit in. You can go along with it because you're trying to save somebody else, or because you're worried about somebody else, like your best friend or something. You want to be there for them, so you're doing it because you're you're worried about what might happen to your best friend if they do it on their own or something. Or you could do it with the intention of wanting to make somebody else feel comfortable, like wanting to make somebody else happy, wanting to make somebody else feel better about themselves. So like these type of people, like they'll make themselves uncomfortable. They'll put other people before their own self. So like I mean they can go as far as like they're the type of person who, like, when they go home to their mom and they want like they will marry the wrong person to make their mom happy, like that kind of, or their dad happy or whoever. And then they go against their own intuition, their own gut feeling, and then it ends up blowing up in their face, and then they end up suffering consequences. But the kicker, I mean, like the real kicker, is they end up getting made an example out of. So not only do they end up doing time, I mean, sometimes, okay, so especially if it's like if these two signs share the 12th house, which is like institutions and like jail. I mean, sometimes people can do time with displacement, but they get made the example out of, or they have to face harder consequences. So it almost looks like no, okay, so like if their moon and their if North Node, Moon, and Mercury all share the same placement, then they're completely innocent, but they get found guilty. Like, so it's kind of like a setup, or like they end up doing time for a crime they didn't commit. But when it's the Moon and the 12th, or when it's the Moon and the North Node, they usually actually end up committing the crime, or they end up doing whatever happened, but they did it with good intentions, or to protect somebody else, or they didn't want to do it in the first place, but then they get here, let me give you guys an example. All right, so like in a job setting, like a work setting, like say it's like an office, a corporate job, selling like insurance, whatever. But anyways, so everybody, I mean, everybody works hard. It's like a good office. And the only thing is, on Fridays, they work extra hard because they leave an hour early. They leave an hour early, but on their timesheet or whatever, like pretend like they're not salary, like they're hourly. I don't know if that would happen, but uh, they leave an hour early, and they just make it look like they work the whole day. So they get paid 8 hours when they only work 7. So, and this has just gone on forever. Everybody knows about it. It's just accepted. I mean, that's the culture, that's the environment, whatever. And then a new employee comes along and they're just not down with it for whatever reason. They have like a conscience, they feel bad, they feel guilty, they don't want to do it. But they're not the type of person, people with this placement, they wouldn't be the type of person who would like cause a big scene or try to change everybody's mind. Like, they're not the type of person who sees a problem and wants to fix it. They're the type of person who will quietly continue working. Like, they'll go all the they'll be the person who feels badly about it, but they're not going to try to change everybody else's mind or make them feel guilty about it. What they'll do is they'll keep working the whole day. Everybody else leaves at 4, but they continue working until 5, or they correctly change their timesheet. So if they do dip out at 4, they put it on their timesheet that they left at 4. But okay, so like this, that's my little example. So this person with this placement is like that, and then all of a sudden there's like a big celebration. Somebody's like made their like 7 years or something, so like everybody's going to go to like a bar or a restaurant to celebrate so and so because they've done such a great job. So everybody leaves at 4 o'clock like usual, and then this is the one time that person decides to go, and it's the one time they don't change their timesheet or whatever. And then it's also the one time that somebody from corporate just happens to show up at the office right at like 4:30, and there's nobody there, and they're like, hey, what's going on? There's nobody here. And then for whatever reason, the person who didn't really do it ever before or didn't feel comfortable doing it, when they have this placement, they end up getting hit the hardest, or like they get the rule book thrown at them the hardest, and everybody else kind of gets a slap on the wrist, but they end up getting made an example of or whatever. I don't know, maybe this person is just like, maybe the person who came knows the person's family, so then he's just like, I'm very disappointed in you, so and so, and what would your grandparents say, or you know what I mean, whatever you could think of. This person, the person who didn't even want to do it, and who another way of saying it is somebody with this placement, they go against their own intuition, or they go against their own gut feeling, and this will happen to them again and again and again until Saturn returns in their birth chart at the age of 30 or 35. So I mean, these type of people kind of have it hard, or they kind of have it rough for a while, because it's just one of their lessons that they have to learn, or that they're supposed to figure out, is how to say no, how to not care about what other people think, how to put themselves first. Because really, when it comes down to it, they don't put themselves first. Like, I mean, you couldn't find a more loyal friend. I mean, like, they'll definitely go, I mean, this is the type of person who can be really taken advantage of. Okay, so like, people with this placement, the people that they surround themselves really matter. So like, if they surround themselves with people who are going and doing all sorts of crazy things all the time, then the likelihood of them doing the crazy things is really high. Let me think about another example. Okay, so like some like a crazy show on Netflix where there's like this all around great person, like he's just like the legit, like a really good guy, like he goes to church, he does sports, he takes care of his mom. I mean, everything about him, you couldn't say one bad thing. And then if he had this placement, it would be the type of person who doesn't go out and drink, they don't go and do anything like that. But then the one time that they do, something happens, like they go home with somebody, but the person that they end up going home with, they're not very interested in them, but they feel guilty or they feel bad for the person. Like, so they have the other person's feelings in mind. So they're just like, if I reject this person when they're like throwing themselves at me, then it's gonna hurt their feelings, and I don't want to do that or whatever. So like they go against their own like body, or they go against what their body wants, or what their gut wants, or what their intuition wants, or whatever. They go against everything, and they just do something to make somebody else happy, or not to not like humiliate them, I guess. I don't know, like it's embarrassing if you get rejected, you know. But so anyways, and then some other crazy thing happens too, where the person like passes out or something, or like maybe the person had like what do you call it? Like drugs or whatever, and then all of a sudden some crazy out of some kind of crazy thing, it ends up looking like the dude was trying to like uh it turns out looking like the dude did something to like somebody who was unconscious or something like that. So then, oh my god, then it's like a big horrible thing, and the person's just like, oh my god, how did this even happen to me? I didn't even want to do anything. And then on top of that, they get made an example out of. So like whatever political things going on in the world, or whatever, the timing of when this happens just happens to be like the time when everybody's upset because I don't know, they go back and they realize that throughout history or something, like one demographic has gotten away with a lot or something, or they got lighter sentences. Like they like this group of people always get like a slap on the wrist. They only go to jail for 3 months, when this other group, if they do it, they might go to jail for 3 years. Like it's so unfair. Anyway, so it's like something like that's going on. And when this guy right when this poor dude accidentally has something happen, and then so he gets made the example of, the judge like uses him to make a point to everybody else. He's like, how can we show the world that we are coming down hard on everybody equally, or whatever. So like instead of the dude getting a slap on the wrist for 3 months, like maybe he would have a year ago, or like 3 months ago, or whatever, the judge the judge ends up giving him a sentence of like 5 years, like something crazy. Like it's even higher than the 3 years that everybody else got when it was the stiffest sentence. So I mean, these people get made the example out of. But the whole point is, yeah, they do something, like they're not completely innocent, but when whatever they do it, they never really want to. They get either they and it's not like they're getting talked into it either. The people, like, they could easily say no, I'm not going to do it, and they could walk away, but they think that they're going to disappoint somebody, or they think that the other person's going to feel like rejected or some sort of way, and like they want to, if they put other people above their own feelings, or like it's like a sacrifice, right? Like it's like they're sacrificing their own well-being for somebody else or whatever. So like on a different, like a whole different way of looking at it, is like they're trying to do something heroic or something, but then it gets all twisted, and then they get caught, and then they get made an example out of. Like, I guess, like, I don't know how many more examples I should keep going on and on, but like Martha Stewart, maybe she has this placement, I don't really know, but she may have like her North Node or Rahu in the 12th house, or with conjunct the moon. But I mean, I think people pretty much like I don't think it's too far off to think that people get inside information and they use it and they make a lot of money, or they avoid losing a lot of money. But for whatever reason, all of them don't get caught, but Martha Stewart got caught, or whatever, if she had this placement. And maybe she, I mean, like, just using that as an example, she did it to please somebody else. Like, she didn't even really want to take the information, or she just was trying to be polite. Like, she was just like, okay, whatever. Like, not she didn't even really want to do it, or whatever, or like Or another way, like maybe she was totally oblivious, like she seriously was stupid, or like she was just not thinking, or she just didn't know. Like that's actually possible. I mean, uh people who don't watch the news, or people who don't pay attention to certain things, they could be totally oblivious, and they could do something, and they don't even know what's going on, you know what I mean? Like, so anyways, with this placement, these kind of people, they can find themselves in like some kind of predicament where they don't even know how they got there. Well, they do know how they got there, and then they end up blaming themselves for a long time, because they know that if they would have followed their intuition or their gut, then they would never have ended up there. So yeah, that's all this placement comes down to. I mean, I'm happy that I don't have it because these people kind of have it rough, but it's mm, mm, so what can lessen it is definitely if Jupiter's there too. So you have to look at somebody's entire chart, right? You can't just say, and the degrees matter too. Like anything less than 5 degrees probably doesn't matter. I mean, it's not gonna be as strong. So no, but overall, this type of placement, people who have their North Node, people conjunct. Okay, so when something is conjunct in astrology, it just means that they share the same house, or they're close together. They're really close together in the chart. So it's like when the moon and the North Node, or in Vedic astrology, which is from India, it's Rahu. When the moon and the North Node are really close together, sharing the same house, then that's the placement that we're talking about. But yeah. Sorry guys, I can't read this. The print on here is super tiny, so it's hard. Hey, Shoshana. um. Oh no, I'm actually in Anchorage right now. No. Okay, so like so when somebody has their North Node in, if somebody's North Node is in the 12th house, then that automatically means that their South Node would be in the 6th house, because it's always 6 the other way. Um, no, no, that's like for a whole different video, or like that's like totally something different. Um, you know what? I'll talk to you. I'll message you through Patreon. Okay. All right. All right. Well, you guys, this is the um North Node in North Node Moon conjacent each other in the same house. All right. Bye.